Hello, Dave.
Hello, Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How's by you?
Not too bad at all. How's the reception on your end?
Pretty good. Can you hear me?
I can. It's a little staticky, but it doesn't matter if it's staticky on my end.
True.
Okay, are we set to go?
We are set to go, yes.
All right. Okay. So I think we're gonna start with Rich L this time, our resident Catholic in Peoria, Mr. 153, who has, you were saying, Jeff Seiler is the only one that won't run his question through you, and now Rich is doing the same thing, left a phone message.
He actually emailed me that he left a phone message.
Oh, he emailed you the question at the same time?
He didn't put the full question, but he did give me the gist of it.
Okay, all right. Well, we can listen to it right now. You haven't heard it yet, but it's on its way to you. Rolly's got it, and he's got Jeff's question as well. So here we go with Rich L's question.
Saved message. Main menu. You have no unheard messages in your mailbox. First saved message.
Hi, Dave. This is Rich L. from Peoria. Question for your call-in tomorrow on your radio show. How tall is Cerebus? What's his height? Thanks. Bye.
End of
A really short question of how tall is Cerebus? So, okay, that sounds like a simpler question than it actually is, and that's one of those things that I've never really talked about, or maybe I have. Maybe if I have talked about it, I'm talking to the right guy about that, because you can say, no, you did that in the Blog and Mail, however many years ago. How tall is Cerebus? Well, okay, the standard answer, of course, is 3 feet tall. But why? One of the things that I do know about Cerebus, and one of those things that I know about Cerebus, and I don't know how I know this about Cerebus, is if you snuck up behind him with a tape measure and put the one end of the tape measure down at his foot and pulled it up all the way to the top of his head, it would be exactly 36 inches. But the moment that you let the tape measure snap back inside its housing and walked away, Cerebus would be taller than that.
Okay.
No, it's a fractal kind of thing. If you're measuring him, he's 36 inches. If you're not measuring him, he's taller than that. And I was going, okay, how can I illustrate how I figured this out, or how I knew this? The back cover of Cerebus number 89 is gone on tour, and it's just 3 photos from the Aardvark Silver San Diego party that we had, which has Tony Basilicato, who created the Cerebus Muppet, and Norma from Comic Snuff Said. And it's basically Tony Basilicato hitting on Norma with the Muppet. The thing where people respond, women particularly will take things from a Muppet that they would never take from a guy, but they just shift over mentally in terms of she's talking to the Muppet and the Muppet is talking to her, and she's giggling and basically letting Tony say stuff to her that she wouldn't ordinarily let Tony say to her. And if you look at those photos and you go, okay, let's imagine that I'm looking at a Cerebus panel. Does Cerebus look to be the right size for Cerebus? Does he look 3 feet tall compared to the other people in the photo? And it's like, depends on which photo that you're looking at. In one of the photos, he looks too small to be Cerebus. In one of the photos, he looks too big to be Cerebus. And in one of the photos, he looks just about the right size for Cerebus, which is, I would maintain, one of those things that is what I'm talking about, which is that Cerebus is different sizes under different circumstances. To further illustrate that point, if you're looking at the Cerebus Muppet, and I think there's a few photos of the Cerebus Muppet out there. Most people would look at it and say, "Well, it's a little big for Cerebus. He's only supposed to be 3 feet tall." But I went and got my own tape measure, and the Cerebus Muppet is in the Cerebus archive room here at the Off-White House. And I took the tape measure, and I measured him, and Cerebus, the Muppet, is exactly 31 inches tall. So he's actually 5 inches shorter than Cerebus is. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense, because Tony Basilicato was a huge Cerebus fan, knew that Cerebus was 3 feet tall, and had been making Muppets for Jim Henson, and making Muppets with other people for however many years. He goes all the way back to the Sesame Street days. There was no way that he could not do a 36-inch tall Cerebus, but he ended up doing a 31-inch tall Cerebus. Never had a chance to talk to him about that, but it's one of those, he either just fell under the spell of Cerebus and went, oh, I have to make him a little shorter than that, because he's never the size that he is when you're measuring him. Or he got partway through the Muppet and went, the Muppet just looks too damn tall at 36 inches, so I have to cut it down.
So is he 36 inches from the floor to the top of his head, or 36 inches from the floor to the tip of his ears?
36 inches from the floor to the top of his head.
So is the Muppet 36 to the top of his ears?
No, I don't think the ears are 5 inches long. But that's one of those, like you don't measure ears if you're measuring an animal. Like, is it this tall up to the top of its ears? No, the height is up to the top of its head.
Well, I agree with you. I know that Eric Larson has this problem where people will draw the Savage Dragon and they'll make him like 6.5, 7 feet tall, and he keeps coming back with, he's less than 6 feet tall to the top of his head. The fin is another 12 inches.
Right, right. Well, that sort of ties in with Spawn 10 as well, where it's like, Todd went, well, if I'm going to do Spawny and Cerebus together, Cerebus is going to come up like just barely over Spawn's knees, maybe up to mid-thigh. And it's like, so I'll just draw the bottom half of Spawn. And it was a good sight gag. He was one of the first people to go, well, no, if I'm going to draw Cerebus, I'm going to draw him 3 feet tall relative to my character. But at the same time, you picture a person who is 6 feet tall, who is just standing there. That's a reasonably tall person. You don't picture Cerebus being half of their height. Like half of their height, you would picture them, Cerebus coming up to their waist. But it's, the body proportions are different from that. Halfway up a human being isn't their waist. Halfway up a human being is mid to upper thigh. So that's the most concise answer I can give to how tall is Cerebus. Like I say, one of the...
Uh-oh.
You're not supposed to be talking about these things, but you know me, and you're not supposed to be talking about this. What the heck? At this point, I'm not real big on people telling me what I'm allowed to talk about and what I'm not allowed to talk about. So the point that I was about to make was that Jaka was the individual character that most clearly saw Cerebus as he was. And the reason for that was that Cerebus's legs looked like Missy's legs. And that was a DNA level genetic thing for Jaka, where she responded to that and not to what it was that her mind was showing her Cerebus appearing to be, because that was one of those templates that anything that was Missy in her life was good. Anything that wasn't Missy was way down in the pecking order from there. So consequently, when her genetic level mind saw Cerebus, she saw Missy, at least from the waist down, and that was what she responded to. So all I can do is tell you what it is that I know about Cerebus, and a few of the things are actually pretty weird.